Stop. Before you eat anything tomorrow morning, you need to watch this video. Because what I'm about to share with you could literally save your life. Or the life of someone you love. Every single morning, millions of seniors over the age of 60 sit down to eat what they believe is a healthy breakfast. They've been eating it for decades. Their doctors never warned them. The food companies certainly never told them. And yet, right there on that breakfast table, something is silently attacking their blood sugar, destroying their arteries, and pushing their body closer and closer to a full diabetic crisis every single day. I know that sounds alarming, and it should, because this isn't a theory. This isn't something I made up. There is actual clinical research, studies done on real people, real seniors just like you, showing that this one common breakfast food can spike blood sugar levels by 300% or more within just 30 minutes of eating it. 300%. Let that number sink in. Your blood sugar shooting up 3 times the safe level before you've even finished your morning cup of tea. So what is this food? I'm going to tell you. But first, I want you to understand something important. Something that most doctors don't explain clearly enough. Something that most health content on the internet completely ignores. And that is this. For people over the age of 60, blood sugar is not just a diabetes problem. Blood sugar is the single most important factor affecting your energy, your brain function, your heart health, your weight, your sleep, your vision, your kidneys, your nerves, and your entire quality of life. Every system in your body is powered by, and damaged by, blood sugar, depending on how you manage it. Think about an elderly woman named Margaret. She's 67 years old. She's a retired school teacher from Ohio. Every morning she wakes up, she makes herself a bowl of what she thinks is one of the healthiest breakfasts she can eat. She's heard it's heart healthy. She's seen the label on the box. She feels good after eating it, at least for the first 20 minutes. But then the crash comes. The fatigue, the brain fog, the slight shakiness in her hands. She just thinks it's getting old. She has no idea that her blood sugar is doing something terrifying inside her body every single morning. She had no idea until her doctor called her in for an emergency consultation after reviewing her latest blood panel. Margaret's story is not unusual. In fact, it is the story of tens of millions of seniors across America, across the UK, across Australia, across Canada, and beyond. People who are doing their best. People who think they're eating healthy. People who trust the labels on food packaging. People who have been failed by a food system that profits from their sickness, and a medical system that often only tells them what's wrong after the damage is already done. Now here is the shocking truth, and please stay with me because this is where it gets really important. The food that is causing this dangerous blood sugar spike every morning in seniors over 60 is not candy. It's not donuts. It's not soda. It's something that millions of people consider a health food. Something that has been marketed for decades as nutritious, wholesome, and good for your heart. Something you almost certainly have in your kitchen right now. It is orange juice. Or more specifically, store-bought, commercially processed, pasteurized orange juice. That glass of orange juice sitting on your breakfast table right now. That innocent-looking glass of liquid that you've been drinking since childhood. That glass that every breakfast food advertisement shows beside eggs and toast, telling you it's the perfect way to start your day. That glass, for a senior over 60, is one of the most dangerous things you can consume first thing in the morning. And the research to back this up is overwhelming. Here's what happens inside your body when you drink a glass of orange juice on an empty stomach. When orange juice is commercially processed and pasteurized, the natural fiber that existed in the whole orange, the fiber that would normally slow down the release of sugar into your bloodstream, is completely removed. What you are left with is essentially liquid sugar. A standard 8-ounce glass of commercial orange juice contains between 21 and 26 grams of sugar. That is the same amount of sugar as in a can of Coca-Cola. But here's the thing people don't understand. Because it doesn't have the word soda on the label, because it comes from fruit, because it feels healthy, the brain doesn't raise the alarm. But the pancreas? The pancreas knows exactly what just entered the bloodstream. Within 15 to 30 minutes of drinking that glass of orange juice on an empty stomach, your blood glucose levels can spike dramatically. A 2019 study published in a peer-reviewed nutrition journal found that consuming 240 milliliters of commercially processed orange juice caused a glycemic response nearly equivalent to consuming pure glucose in older adults. And for people over 60, whose insulin sensitivity is already naturally declining, a process called insulin resistance that begins accelerating after age 55. This spike is even more severe and takes far longer to come back down. What does that mean for your body? When blood sugar spikes that high that fast, your pancreas goes into emergency mode. It dumps a massive amount of insulin into your bloodstream to try to bring that sugar back down. That insulin surge causes inflammation in your blood vessel walls. It triggers the release of cortisol, the stress hormone. It puts enormous strain on your heart, your kidneys, and your eyes. And then, this is the part that hurts people most, the insulin does its job too well, and your blood sugar crashes. Rapidly. This is the crash that Margaret was feeling. The fatigue, the brain fog, the shakiness, the craving for more sugar just 2 hours after breakfast. And here is the really frightening part. When this cycle happens every single morning, spike, surge, crash, repeat, day after day, week after week, month after month, the damage accumulates. The blood vessel walls thicken. The inflammation becomes chronic. The kidneys begin working overtime. The nerves in the feet and hands begin to lose sensation. The risk of a cardiovascular event, a heart attack or stroke, increases dramatically. According to the American Diabetes Association, poorly managed post-meal blood sugar spikes are one of the strongest independent risk factors for cardiovascular disease in people over 60. Not just in diagnosed diabetics, in everyone. Now, I want to be very clear here. I am not a doctor. I am not giving you personal medical advice. What I am doing is sharing important, research-backed health information that I believe every senior and every family member of a senior deserves to know. Always consult with your own physician before making any significant changes to your diet. But please, please, bring this information to your next appointment and ask your doctor to test your post-meal blood glucose response. Not just your fasting glucose, not just your A1C. Ask for a post-meal glucose test, measured 1 hour and 2 hours after eating. The results may shock you. Let me tell you about another real situation. A man named Robert, 72, from Texas. Robert was not diabetic. His fasting blood sugar was always normal. His A1C was in the acceptable range. He felt fine, except for the tiredness, except for the weight he couldn't lose around his belly, except for the tingling in his feet that his doctor told him was just part of getting older. Robert drank orange juice every single morning. He believed it was healthy. He'd never been told otherwise. When his new doctor ran a post-meal glucose test, Robert's blood sugar hit 210 milligrams per deciliter 1 hour after his typical breakfast: orange juice, whole wheat toast, and a banana. A level of 210 is in the diabetic range. Robert had no idea. He had been in a state of undiagnosed post-meal hyperglycemia for years, silently damaging his body every single morning. And Robert's case raises something else that is critically important for seniors to understand: the concept of what researchers call hidden blood sugar damage. Because here's the painful truth. You can have perfectly normal fasting blood sugar. You can have a normal A1C, and you can still be experiencing dangerous blood sugar spikes after meals that are slowly, quietly, invisibly destroying your organs and your cardiovascular system. This is one of the most under-discussed health crises affecting people over 60 today. And orange juice, sitting there on your breakfast table, is one of the most common hidden triggers. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, but what about vitamin C? What about the potassium? What about all the good things in orange juice? And look, I hear you. Those nutrients are real. Vitamin C is important. Potassium is important. But here is the critical thing to understand. Every single nutrient in orange juice can be obtained from sources that do not spike your blood sugar. You can eat a whole orange, with the fiber intact, and the sugar release is dramatically slower and gentler. You can eat leafy greens, bell peppers, and berries for your vitamin C. You can eat avocados, sweet potatoes, and spinach for your potassium. The nutrients are not the problem. The delivery system, the liquid, fiber-stripped, concentrated sugar vehicle, that is the problem. A whole orange versus a glass of orange juice. Let's really break this down, because this comparison alone could change everything for you. A whole medium orange contains about 12 grams of sugar. A glass of commercially processed orange juice contains about 22 to 26 grams of sugar, almost double the amount. But more importantly, the whole orange contains 3 grams of fiber. That fiber acts as a brake pedal. It slows the release of sugar into your bloodstream. It reduces the glycemic response by as much as 40% compared to the juice. This is not a small difference. This is the difference between a gentle curve and a sharp spike. For a senior with declining insulin sensitivity, that difference is the difference between health and a slow-moving metabolic disaster. And this is not just about orange juice in isolation. The real danger for seniors every morning is the combination. Orange juice and white toast, or even whole wheat toast, which has a glycemic index nearly identical to white bread. Orange juice and commercial cereal, which in most cases is another hidden sugar bomb disguised as a healthy breakfast. Orange juice and a bagel. Orange juice and fruit yogurt. Each one of these combinations is a blood sugar explosion at the cellular level. Each one of these combinations is accelerating inflammation, oxidative stress, and insulin resistance in a body that is already working harder than it did at 40. Let me give you some numbers that will really hit home. The glycemic index of white bread is 75. Whole wheat bread is 71. A glass of orange juice is between 66 and 76, depending on the brand and processing method. A bowl of cornflake cereal, one of the most popular breakfast cereals among seniors, has a glycemic index of 81. Rice Krispies, 82. Instant oatmeal, not steel-cut but instant, 83. Now compare that to steel-cut oats, 55. Eggs, 0. Avocado, 0. Greek yogurt with no added sugar, 11. Berries, 25. Nuts and seeds, under 20. The difference in how these foods affect your blood sugar is not subtle. It is dramatic, and it is entirely within your control. So what should seniors be eating for breakfast? I want to give you something practical here, something real, something you can start doing tomorrow morning. The ideal breakfast for a senior over 60, from a blood sugar management perspective, is one that is high in healthy protein, high in healthy fat, high in fiber, and very low in rapidly digestible carbohydrates. Think 2 eggs cooked in olive oil or butter, with half an avocado and a handful of spinach. Think full-fat Greek yogurt with no added sugar, topped with a small handful of walnuts and fresh blueberries. Think a small bowl of steel-cut oats, not instant, cooked slowly, topped with cinnamon, which has been shown in multiple studies to help moderate blood sugar response, and a tablespoon of natural almond butter for healthy fat and protein. These breakfasts do not spike blood sugar. They provide sustained energy. They reduce inflammation. They feed the brain with the stable glucose supply it needs without the crash. They protect the heart. They support kidney function. They reduce the risk of diabetic neuropathy, that nerve damage in the feet and hands that so many seniors experience and are told is just a part of aging. It is not just a part of aging. Much of it is a product of chronic post-meal blood sugar spikes, and it can be dramatically slowed, and in some cases reversed, with the right nutritional choices. Now I want to talk about something that goes beyond just orange juice. Because while orange juice is the single most shocking example, the one that shocks people the most because it's perceived as so healthy, it is part of a broader category of breakfast danger foods that seniors need to be aware of. Commercially produced smoothies, especially the ones sold at chain stores and restaurants, can contain anywhere from 45 to 80 grams of sugar in a single serving. Flavored yogurts marketed as healthy or light often contain 15 to 25 grams of added sugar per serving. Granola, even the organic, natural kind, is often loaded with honey, maple syrup, or agave that creates a rapid blood sugar spike. White bagels and white English muffins are essentially pure refined starch that converts to sugar in the digestive tract faster than table sugar. And many brands of so-called healthy breakfast bars, the ones with words like natural, wholesome, and nutritious on the label, contain more sugar per serving than a standard candy bar. The food industry has spent billions of dollars over decades convincing you that these products are healthy. They have funded their own research. They have lobbied against stricter food labeling. They have placed their products on the heart-healthy shelves of supermarkets while quietly knowing what the science was showing. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is documented history. And the people who have paid the price, who are paying the price right now this morning as they reach for that carton of orange juice, are seniors. People who trusted the system. People who did everything they were told. People who deserve better. You deserve better. And more importantly, you deserve to know the truth. Because knowledge is the most powerful medicine on earth. When you understand what is happening inside your body, when you see the mechanism clearly, when you know why that glass of juice is dangerous and what to eat instead, that is when real change happens. That is when people make different choices. That is when blood sugar comes down. That is when inflammation decreases. That is when energy improves, when brain fog lifts, when the tingling in the feet begins to fade, when the weight around the middle starts to drop away. There are thousands of seniors who have made these changes and been stunned by the results. People who came off blood sugar medication entirely under their doctor's supervision after improving their diet. People who reversed their pre-diabetes diagnosis. People who dropped their A1C by a full point or more simply by changing what they ate for breakfast. People who went from exhausted every morning to feeling more alive and energetic than they had in years. This is not magic. This is biology. This is your body responding to the right fuel instead of the wrong fuel. I want to leave you with this. Your age is not your destiny. 60, 65, 70, 75, your body still has an extraordinary capacity to heal, to adapt, to improve when you give it what it needs. The decades of morning orange juice, the years of high glycemic breakfasts, yes, they may have done some damage, but the body is resilient. The science of reversing metabolic dysfunction in older adults is now well established. It begins with breakfast. It begins with that one simple change. Removing the one food that is silently attacking your blood sugar every single morning and replacing it with something that heals instead of harms. Please share this video with someone you love, an elderly parent, a sibling, a friend who is struggling with their blood sugar, their weight, their energy, their heart. They may not know. They may still be drinking that glass of orange juice every morning, believing it is helping them, not knowing the truth. You now know the truth. Share it. Because the best medicine is knowledge, and knowledge shared is lives saved. Take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, and I'll see you in the next video.